Sometimes if you dig down deep, you find treasure. Other times, you find, well, not treasure. Don't go away. Hello and welcome to Fat Guy Productions. I am Paul, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And yes, I do make myself laugh with my stupid jokes. I'm sorry. I'm just in a weird mood today. All right, look. I took out a casting, and I really thought that maybe this would just be a simple, enjoyable restoration. It's a Hot Wheels Redline, and I thought, hey, this is going to just be easy and fun. I'm going to have a good time with this. Let's get into it. And, well, I must have dug too deep, and I found something down there that I didn't like. So let's get to work. So today I'm going to be tackling this Hot Wheels Redline Custom Continental Mark III. Now, yeah, it's in rough shape, and it certainly needs restoration, but I really didn't think going in that it was going to be as complicated as all that. I thought maybe strip it, polish it, paint it, we're good to go. I'm going to find out otherwise. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get this car torn apart. So I showed you a little bit more of the drilling process than I normally do, so you can see just how well the shielded drilling works. I mean, seriously, you put the bit into the little nook around the rivet or over the top of the rivet and you start drilling. I didn't do any center punching, I didn't do any pre-drilling or anything like that. I just stuck the bit on there and started drilling, and look how well that goes, okay? The bit doesn't slide around. I get a nice center drill out. It works so fantastic. So if you're not doing this, you need to go to my Amazon store at www.amazon.com/shop/Paul Udelis, and you need to buy my Vix Bit set under the Diecast section. I'm telling you, this is the way to go. Not only does it work great at drilling out the cars, it's fantastic for prepping the end of your posts so that you can drill them out and tap them. It's a fantastic way to go. You're gonna love it, I promise you. And listen, like anything else, there's a little bit of a learning curve here, but at the end of the day, this is absolutely the best way to take these cars apart. So, problem number one, this front left axle is totally screwed up. It's being held onto the base by one crimp. That means it can flop around, it doesn't stay in place, it's a real problem, and I'm going to have to deal with that. I'm sad about that. As to the rest of the car, the interior is good, the glass is good, the body looks solid and like it's not going to be a problem, but hey, looks can be deceiving. So after cleaning off the ends of the posts, I'll go ahead and drill them out, tap them, and then I'm going to run in a screw just to keep the hole clean so that I won't have any issues when I get ready to put the car back together at the end of the build. So normally the warm liquid goo phase is my favorite part of any diecast build, but this is where things are really going to go south, and I'm going to actually be pretty sad about the outcome. Anyhow, I'll just enjoy the goo drop for what it is, and then I'll be sad here in a minute. Okay, so the car's been in the warm liquid goo for about 18 hours. We can pluck it out, and then we'll take it to the sink, wash off all the residual, and we can see what we have. So I said after we washed it off, we can see what we have, and well, I can see that I actually have a turd. Yeah, this casting is in horrific shape. It's got all this black spots on it. I've never seen tarnish like this, okay? It is just terrible. And the paint really kind of hid a lot of this, but it is just awful. And I'm stunned. This is absolutely going to need some electro polishing, which we'll take and we'll run it through that. And honestly, even with a lot of time in the electro polisher, it didn't really help it all that much. Then when we're done, we're going to let this thing sit in a zinc bath for, I think I did all total about 45 minutes of zinc bath. I did first a 15-minute bath, and then I think I did like a 30-minute bath. And it really still just didn't come out very good. You know, I was really hopeful that I could just go with a straight, easy Spectra Flame paint job on this car, but it's not looking so good. So after the electro polishing and the zinc coating, I have taken the car and I'm hitting it with the brass bristle brush and the steel wool, and it still really looks just funky. I actually started using some sandpaper, and really I was just not getting to where I needed to be, especially because this car has a lot of little body lines and things like that. And, so you have to be really careful what you're doing, or you're going to sand away a lot of the detail from the car, and it's going to look like crap. So, despite all my efforts here, when I polished it out, the hood actually came out pretty good. I'll say that. I got the hood to look pretty nice, but the rest of the car still looked lame. There were too many pits. There was too many anomalies, and it just wasn't working. And I started to realize the only way I'm going to be able to give it even something remotely resembling a Spectra Flame paint job is I'm going to have to go ahead and prime, sand, and then I'll have to coat this with a metallic silver base coat before putting on the paint. So, sadly, that is the decision I've had to make, and we'll go ahead and do it and move forward. So, as always, I'm going to go ahead and start by priming the casting with my Tamiya Fine Primer. This stuff is amazing. Don't be frightened by the cost of the can. You know, it looks like it's a little can and it's pricey. It's like $8. But I'll tell you, it goes way further than you think it would, and it does such an amazing job. I don't know where I'd be without it. It really puts down such a beautiful, smooth base coat that it really makes my paint jobs just pop. Okay, so while the primer is drying, I'm going to try and attend to this axle. And basically, there's not really any decent way for me to squeeze the crimps back together. So what I'm doing is I'm getting the wire axle pressed down back into its original position the best that I can, and then I'm going to use my gel control super glue, and I'm going to just coat it from end to end to lock that axle back down and in position, and that should fix the problem. So the primer is dry, and I'm putting down a base coat of Quicksilver by Createx. This will give me a nice metallic base coat so that I can put down a Spectra Flame finish on this car. So once the Quicksilver is dry, I can go ahead and start to lay down some Spectra Flame green paint. And stupid me, I should have waited for the Three Blind Mice pig build, where we're going to paint everything green for St. Patrick's Day, before choosing to do a green car, but I wasn't thinking that far ahead. Anyhow, I'm using Spectra Flame green, and we're just going to paint this car green. Now, truth in advertising, no matter what you do, if you have to prime your car, I don't care what base coat you're using underneath it, it's not going to look like a Spectra Flame car. It just isn't, okay? There's no substitute for that polished zinc finish, okay? It just has a certain look, and at least I haven't found anything that replicates that. But when you're stuck and your casting is that bad, you often don't have a choice, and this was the best option, and so I'm just going to go with it. So, in addition to using my beloved Flitz to polish out the body, or at least try to, and fail because the body was so bad, I also polished up the base with it, and now it works great on plastic, so I'm polishing the window and the rear window just by taking a little cotton swab, dipping it in the Flitz, and buff, 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 and lo and behold, I have a beautiful looking piece of glass. Now, if this glass piece were in worse shape, I would have sanded it first, then polished it with the Flitz, then took it for a dip in the gauzy. But this was such nice shape, all I really needed to do was just buff it out with the Flitz, and I can call it done. Okay, so the base is polished and protected with Renaissance wax. The axle is dry, and now I'm going to go ahead and nip off the old wheels, and we'll put some new ones on that I got from Bright Vision. Now, the Custom Continental would normally come with 4 medium wheels. I'm not doing that. You know, I never do what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to do 2 large chrome deep dish in the rear and 2 mediums in the front, and I think it should look awesome. Alright, we can now go ahead and pop this sucker together. I'll start by taking out the screws that I left in to protect the tapped out posts, and then I'll drop in the interior and glass. I place the base into position, then I run the screws back in, and I can finally call this casting done. I think it came out awesome. I hope you agree. Well, there she is, shining like a new penny. I'm super happy with the way this came out. Well, there it is, my Hot Wheels Redline Custom Continental in a beautiful, beautiful green. I think it came out fantastic, and I, for one, love the roof in the body color. If you think it should be black, let me know in the comments down below. Anyhow, it was a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a giant thumbs up, click subscribe, and don't forget to monkey stomp the notification bell so you never miss one of my videos. As always, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I love to hear from you guys. Okay, that's going to do it. I'm going to get out of here for today. Until next time, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions saying, be good.